Hello, and welcome to Sittin' with Jimi. This is the place where we discuss all things creative because creativity is a way of life. Have you ever had trouble finishing your artistic works? Ever felt so much self-judgment that you question even calling yourself a songwriter? Ever been driven to depression by your creative or technical faults and wanted to angrily, maybe violently quit? You are not alone, not by a long shot. Today I'm going to share with you some ideas that are like creative armor when it comes to facing your artistic battles. There is a great book called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Not only do I consider this book great, but I believe that if you could literally only read one book about artistic creativity in your whole life, this is the one you should read. Today I want to talk about the mortal enemy of the working artist, and it's an enemy that's at the very core of this book, a concept that Pressfield has aptly called resistance. Resistance is a force that is present in all artists. It prevents them from doing the work that their highest self calls them to do. No one is free from this force. I'm sure you have times in your artistic pursuit where you just can't seem to sit down and do the work. Perhaps you want to write more songs and make an album of them, but you just can't seem to sit down and start. Maybe you consistently write half songs or ideas of songs, none of which you ever complete. Maybe your voice memo folder on your phone is filled with thousands and thousands of homeless works of art. Maybe you are at the end of a recording, an album, or a large project with only a few more final details to complete before you release it to the world. And the process just drags on and on and on. You just don't finish it. This is resistance at work. In my own experience, I believe that resistance is what happens when our desires and dreams leave the warm and safe cavern of our imaginations and enter the light of the real world. Think about this. Your head is the only place in all of the universe where your ideas can remain perfect and unchallenged. Once you begin to put them on the page, into a song, onto a canvas, they become subject to reality, and reality's light is often harsh. These visions become finite, tangible, and fixed, and they pale in comparison to the four-dimensionality of a dream. How could they not? Only a dream is perfect. So this is the part where you start to second-guess yourself. Instead of finishing the work and staring it right in its face, warts and all, you shirk away. You prefer the dream. You prefer the imaginary version of yourself that is perfect and therefore produces only perfection. You can think of it as being in a warm, cozy bed on a cold winter morning. You don't want to leave the bed. You don't want to leave the comfort because facing yourself, facing the blank page, facing the work that is just shy of completion means facing cold reality. This is the wonderfully effective strategy of resistance. A force of nature that is at its core a self-preservation mechanism. But songwriting is not about self-preservation. It is about excavating creative works from deep within you and observing them in the light of reality. It is about learning from a process. In fact, the biggest, most sophisticated lessons that songwriting can teach you, the ones with the most utility, are usually the ones that emerge from completing works that you don't even really like and never share with the world. Works that could not be farther from what you imagined in your head. These are the lessons that pack the most punch and have the most utility. But only if we do this one thing. We have to finish the work and move on. The journey of creative self-discovery depends on the completion of works in succession. There is a dark, uncharted part of the forest, the part where we perhaps least want to go. There are frightening noises there that nag at our courage. There are mirrors hanging from twisted branches that reflect back at us. And in this vulnerable, frightened state, The reflections that we see are the closest to who we really are than any other self-image we have ever seen. This is frightening and spurs us to turn away and run, as if we could change the reflection by running away from it. But the wise, creative adventurer will say to themselves, I know this feeling, this fear, I know this. This fear is a tool of resistance, trying to preserve my sense of comfort, trying to keep the perfect imaginary version of myself whole. Nothing more, nothing less. And so, my creative friends, this is what I want you to say to yourself when you feel this resistance trying to stop you. Make this a mantra. Make it a tool, a sword for battle, a suit of armor for protection. Say this to yourself. The only way out is in. Understand that the power of resistance you're feeling is in direct proportion to the quality of the insights, wisdom, and creative powers you will receive by overcoming it. The only way out is in. Sure, you can run away. You can leave the forest and climb back in your safe cocoon, but all you've done is gone back to where you started. Nothing has been overcome. Nothing has been learned. That burning desire to create, to make a friend of a creative process is still there. And what's worse, your artistic skills and creative instincts shrink from disuse, but resistance doesn't. It grows bigger and bigger the more you succumb to it. You might even start telling yourself terrible untruths about how awful an artist you are. This self-perpetuating, exponentially growing complex of neurotic self-sabotage is what happens when you are in the habit of letting resistance have power over you. How perfect a place for the fruit of your creativity to hide. In resistance. A resistance that will use every psychological trick you can imagine to stop you from discovering what you're actually capable of. So develop this awareness that the force inside of you that stops you short of finishing your songs, finishing your artworks, carrying on the work of the noble artist is merely trying desperately to preserve a fictional version of you in your mind. Paradoxically, it is the challenging and successive time-dependent work of chipping away at this fiction to reveal the truth of who you are beneath that will lead to truer and deeper works. And resistance knows this. And so, as you are working, fighting in the war of art, understand that the process truly is the goal. The more you complete works, the more you overcome resistance, the more you will progress. When we overcome resistance, we are paving a path smoother and smoother between our creative visions and their realization. We are marrying our creative dreams to a tangible outcome, never letting the judgment of that outcome stop us from dreaming. The only way out is in. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this message resonates with you, and I hope that it brings you peace and clarity as you continue on your creative journey. Please subscribe to the channel so that this message can spread and that more people can benefit from it. Once again, thank you so very much. Get out there, defeat your resistance. The only way out is in. I believe in you. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.